You're logged on to LANKAPUVATH Web News. It's good to have you with us. I'm Sonali Pereira. We take a look at the headlines for today. Sri Lankan president is to focus on South Asian issues at the summit in Jordan. The final phase of the hostage rescue mission gets underway, and another 3 have been arrested over the attack on Sri Lankan cricket team in Pakistan. Well, moving on to the news in detail now. President Mahinda Rajapaksa is currently on a 2-day official visit to Jordan at the invitation of King Abdullah. He will participate at the G11 summit scheduled to be held in Jordan. The World Economic Forum and the G11 will focus on several issues pertaining to the interests of Middle Eastern and lower middle-income countries which make up the G11. This year's forum and summit will be attended by over 1,200 business leaders and governmental officials, including heads of states from 79 countries. Several heads of states outside the Middle East region will also participate this year. President Rajapaksa is expected to focus on many issues concerning economic, social and other spheres related to Sri Lanka, as well as other countries of the South Asian region. During his visit, the president will also hold bilateral discussions with several leaders of participating countries. The Sri Lankan military has rescued over 4,500 civilians held hostage by the LTT terrorists yesterday, that's the 14th of May. According to defense sources, the rescue mission is underway with thousands more seeking refuge with the soldiers in the kariyalamullaivaikkal area, even at the time of filing this report. Troops of the 5/8 Division have now started maneuvering southwards along the coast on the eastern border of the newly declared civilian safety zone and have been able to eliminate LTT strongholds up to the Fara 3 shipwreck located on the kariyalamullaivaikkal coast. Meanwhile, a huge explosion was reported in the civilian safety zone where the LTT leaders are currently hiding. According to reports, soldiers had heard the explosion followed by thick smoke rising above 200 meters from the ground at around 6:30 p.m. yesterday. The report added that after the explosion, all radio communication among LTT units had come to a standstill. Reports from the 5/9 Division said that 4 civilians were killed and 14 others suffered serious injuries when the terrorists opened fire at them as they sought refuge with the soldiers. Well, the Sri Lankan Air Force had airlifted 12 of the injured to the government hospital at Anuradhapura. Also in LANKAPUVATH news, Sri Lanka today called on international media institutions to refrain from distorting the actual ground situation by relaying news items posted by pro-LTT websites. Secretary to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Dr. Palitha Kohana said that these media institutions are not only abetting terrorism but also violating laws of their own countries, since most of these countries have banned the LTTE. He also said that troops have rescued a large number of civilians who were held hostage by the LTT terrorists. Dr. Kohana also called on the Tamil diaspora to understand the ground reality and requested them to stop their present violent campaigns as they hinder the rescue missions of innocent Tamil civilians and do nothing to alleviate the problems faced by them. Meanwhile, an LTT terrorist committed suicide by jumping off a 7-storied luxurious condominium in Vellavatta last evening, when troops swooped in and found 4 explosive-laden LTT suicide jackets kept hidden in the terrorist's apartment. On reliable information received, troops assisted by local police cordoned the 7-storied residential apartment on 37th Lane, Vellavatta last evening at around 9:10 p.m., while security forces methodically encircled the specific luxurious apartment and stormed in order to find the 4 suicide jackets. Well, the terrorist, who had been living there posing as a student, had scurried to the rear of his apartment and jumped through one of the openings of the apartment when security forces broke open and entered the premises. The terrorist immediately succumbed to his injuries following the fall and has now been identified as Themudara Pillai Sachindaran, 23. Well, the dead body of the terrorist is lying at Colombo South at the Kalubovila Hospital, awaiting legal procedures. Further investigations are in progress. Also in the news, 3 suspects have reportedly been arrested in connection with their alleged involvement in the attack on the Sri Lankan cricket team in Pakistan's city of Lahore in March. 6 policemen and a Pakistani cricket board van driver were killed in the attack and 6 of the Sri Lankan players were injured. According to news reports from Pakistan, the accused are members of the banned Islamic militant group Lashkar-e-Jhangvi, linked to Al-Qaeda, and had come from the southern Punjab region. Investigators initially claimed that no militant organizations in Pakistan had the capacity to carry out the attack without the help of a state intelligence agency. Well, following their arrests, the suspects were reported to have been moved to an undisclosed location for further interrogation. Sources said that 2 of the suspects were directly involved in the armed attack against the Sri Lankan players, while the third provided logistical support to the attackers in the city. It was also reported that they had received training in a militant camp situated in Wana in South Waziristan, bordering Afghanistan. A dozen attackers fired guns and rockets and detonated 2 bombs near Lahore's Liberty roundabout on the 3rd of March as the Sri Lankan team was on its way for a match at the city's stadium. Well, the attack seriously damaged Pakistan's reputation as a host for any further international sporting event, including the 2011 Cricket World Cup. In early March, Bangladesh's cricket team announced it was postponing Pakistan's 7-match tour of the country scheduled for mid-March. Well, with that, we wind up LANKAPUVATH Web News for today. Thank you for being with us. Do join us again tomorrow for more news.